yes, I want to get one of those fucking pieces of fucking shit. You have to tell me about this. I'm going crazy with all this shit. Is this all you? Do you know all about all this gear?
Yeah.
And you're not doing this full time because you definitely couldn't be making a fucking living out of it.
No, I am, yeah. This is...
Jesus Christ! I just.
I wouldn't be making much out of it.
But well, okay. Yeah. Is because you look like, well, you must be doing.
How much is the rent?
But don't tell me how much. You know what I mean? What I'm trying to say is, are we recording now? Are we doing the fucking podcast?
Yeah, we wrote.
Oh, sorry, yeah. Is this? Oh, this is only.
We'll start. Okay, welcome.
There's no cameras.
Got one camera here.
Just that one there.
Okay, welcome to the Craic 10 Comedy Club. Rolling. Welcome to the Craic 10 Comedy Club. We've got David McSavage tonight.
Special guest.
Hiya.
Hey, and then I wasn't there the last time Dave was on, and there was it two?
It was so bad.
Was it manspreading? What was this guy?
No, this guy. He was just sitting in his chair like he was the king of whatever Dublin, and he's just sitting there with the legs open, and he obviously knew me and knew my background, and because my name is McSavage, but I changed it from Andrews to McSavage because my father was a big disappointment to me. Way, and so he was a bit pissed. So he knows that Ryan Turberidy is my cousin. Who gives a fuck,
Yeah.
And go on, Ryan Turberidy, ha 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 ha.
But it's just
Ryan Turberidy, yeah, Andrews, ha 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 ha. You know what I'm looking and. You're trying to fucking set up a story, you're trying to interact with the thing, and this little cunt is fucking in your ear, like a little gnat fucking in your ear. And there's nothing you could have said to him because he was that drunk. He was sort of sociopathically drunk, Yeah. And if you really did have to put him down, there would have been a fight or something. You would have had to say something.
To snap him out of that.
Well, I don't know.
It was pretty funny. You did put him down.
No, but I didn't. I mean, the thing is, I think you have to get inappropriately vicious sometimes, and then you lose the goodwill of the audience.
Oh yeah, but I'm sure the audience were. I wasn't there.
You maintained the goodwill of the audience for most of it.
Well,
one description.
What happened there?
Well, you described him. You said, "I can see the idiotic thoughts."
Oh, yeah.
That this man is having. They're like a train coming from the back of the room.
The back of the room, yeah. You could see him like. I'm just about to say something. Sorry, I realise this isn't being recorded on video, so there's no point in me doing fucking.
Oh, yeah, it is over there.
But the thing is, the two comedians. Interesting how they reacted. You, Eddie. You're like a nervous little auntie who's thrown a birthday party and wants everybody to have a good time, right? And then there's Sharon Mannion, who took extreme delight in watching me suffer, which is normal because most comedians seeing other comedians die. It's the most exciting thing. Yeah. But your man, what's his name?
Chris Kent
avoided me like I had a rare virus or something because I came off stage radioactive and he's like, I want fucking nothing. I don't want to be associated with that fucking whatever that is. You know what I mean? Because he's got his way of
deadpan.
But Chris Kent had to go with that cunt in the audience as well.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he went up and he
could have come up to me and consoled me a bit.
That would have been a better thing to do.
Yeah, but he just fucking avoided me. He's like fucking Roy Keane. That's your job. You fucked up. So what?
Yeah.
That's my.
But Chris Kent said something like to him because your man started piping up. He said, "You think you're a big man, do you? Trying to put down McSavage. You think you're a big man." And then I can't remember what he said, but he
Can I just say right now, I retract any negative things I've said towards Chris Kent. I love him and I adore him.
Do you retract the negative things you said about me?
No. Eddie, you are my punching bag. Speaking of punching bags, and let's talk about your beautiful sister who pole dances. Can we cut this out?
No.
You're a good-looking guy, Eddie, so I'd say your sister's a bit of a ride. Jesus Christ.
She looks like me, actually.
Jesus, can you imagine that?
She's got
can you
facial
imagine
hair.
actually that? Like a female body with tits and a vagina, and then just a man, like, Eddie's head with a big... Sorry, we're getting into territory that we don't necessarily want to wander into. Yeah.
But that reminded me more about the
Eddie,
pole
just
dancing
don't look
later.
at me. Don't look at me when I'm trying to fuck you.
With his sexy eyes. Remember when years ago, but you and PJ Gallagher, every time you did bad gigs, you would ring each other.
Oh, I love that.
And if I was with him or if I was with you, I would hear how you were going or how he was going.
It's so, the worst thing when people, oh no, you did okay. No, I didn't. You just want somebody like who knows, who is a comedian, just going.
They get it. Almost because you're not looking at it as an event or, this is what's happening. You're like,
also
it cheers us up as well. Like back in the day when me and PJ were friends. We would ring each other up when we did shit gigs, and it would cheer me. Like to hear some awful fucking gigs he did, corporates, and it was so exciting.
Oh, what was that one he did? That song he would the parody of the Eye of the Tiger.
Yeah, he was chased. He was chased out of the gig, chased into the parking lot or something.
Yeah,
like I've done a few of those corporates. No, it's the worst thing. Worst places to perform as a comedian. It's the daytime. The people who are there don't want to be there. It's an extension of their work. They haven't chosen to be there. They don't know who you are. It's also inappropriate to talk about sexual stuff at that time of the day. So
it doesn't suit you as well, though, because you are very much
in
honest
people's faces.
People's faces.
Like Barry Murphy is the king of corporate event. Like he goes in, he'll sit with the clients and he'll get local knowledge. And he'll sort of work it all in, because you have to kind of make it about them, and it has to be within parameters, kind of like hotel foyer type of, can't go below this line and above that line. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm just drinking kombucha.
Oh, it's kakacha.
Kombucha, yes, but
that's the healthiest belch we've had on this show so far.
I'm so sorry, I apologise. But yeah, so dying on your arse
that kombucha it's like €6 a bottle for that little kombucha.
So that belch was like 50 cents.
That's corporate gig money. That's what that is.
Someone's doing the corporate
side. That's McSavage.
I did a corporate gig about a few months ago, and Jesus Christ, I feel so sorry for the people, because they give you $2,000 or something, which is small potatoes, comparing. Like a mate of mine, what's his name, Paul Chowdhury over in the UK, like he'll get 20,000. Can you imagine 20,000? £20,000.
Yeah,
for a gig.
One like what 30 minutes.
I'd sit in a foyer for that, chat to people.
Yeah.
I'd wear a wig and ask questions for that, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's quite reductive of Barry Murphy's. Is that all he is to you? Just no. So like I don't work in a corporate corporate, don't even know what that means, an office environment where there's 100, 200 people. So there's all this sort of hierarchy. So they're not equal socially within the company. And so, if you don't know who these people are and you make fun of the wrong person. I did a gig once. I think the name of the company was Qual Ceram or something like that. I think they made ceramic fucking pipes or something. This is years and years ago, but I ripped into the fucking the guy who ran the business, and they didn't pay me. Just refused to pay me. But I mean, they were only going to pay me £100 or something anyway. But still, and then I did a gig for the solicitors, or a Christmas party, and Brian Cowan, the disgraced former Prime Minister. I know I call it Taoiseach, but I just like saying Prime Minister to annoy. Excuse me, it's Taoiseach. I know it's Taoiseach, you fucking Twitter idiot. I'm just being ironic, okay? Former Prime Minister Brian Cowan, his brother runs a solicitor's office, wherever that is. Where are they?
He's around Drumcondra or something, isn't he?
But anyway, I was ripping into him. I was ripping into Brian Cowan, calling him a blubbery-faced alcoholic. Now, I am an alcoholic. I am an alcoholic, so I can make fun of alcoholics. But he has a big blubbery face. Brian Cowan. I just don't. Just the way he talks, and he was so slovenly. He was drunk one time in an interview. I thought it reflected very badly on the country. So I was going on about that. I didn't know that his brother was sitting in the fucking audience. Right, wait a second. So his brother. And he's like, his whole world is collapsing in on him. And of course, the staff who would be loyal to whoever that guy was, they'd be looking at him and looking at me and going, oh, geez. And they'd be sort of trying to virtue signal to the boss. He's terrible. And then after the gig, me and whoever I was doing the gig with, we were in the green room. And outside the green room, obviously one of the co-workers, he's ruined our Christmas.
Completely ruined it.
Yeah, I did a gig as well. Like I've done
Christmas.
any corporate gig I've ever done, they've ended horribly. I did a gig. Was it a Flann O'Brien tribute fucking thing or something? And I was going on about. Now this is way back in the day. This is like 20 years ago, and I was talking. And the cast of Fair City. No, I didn't know the cast of Fair City were in the audience.
It seems like every time it's the particular person you're having a go at. You never know.
I was actually on.
You have a go at everybody. The odds are someone's in the crowd.
No, I was on stage with Aidan Bishop, right?
Yeah.
And we were doing this thing, and then I said something like Fair City. Watching Fair City, it makes me feel like I have autism. Now, in the sense that it's so not exact, it's just to the left of where you think. And now, first of all, I love neurological disorders. But you're trying to convey an image, a feeling, or whatever.
It's part of the diagnostic toolkit for autism diagnosis.
Right, but then a woman stood up in the audience and says, "My son has autism," or something like that. And of course, the oxygen gets pulled out of the room. Aidan fucks off. He leaves us.
He just went, "I'm done," and just runs.
Yeah. But then now, I think Barry Murphy and
Barry Murphy's in every gig.
He always pops up.
No, this was it. Sorry, this was in Vicar Street. So Barry Murphy and Tommy Tiernan were there, and they were like on the ground crying, crying their eyes out, like I just, spectacularly crashed. But
that's a great one.
Fuck it, mate. But back in the day, you could make mistakes and fuck up without it fully. Not that your career. What I'm trying to say is, if you do fuck up, it seems it's much more instantaneous in terms of people's reaction.
Yeah, I was thinking you should write a book of like just the date. Every chapter is like a different date and the gig, and it's just gig by gig.
Gig by gig autobiography.
Bad gigs. Well, what's his name did that? What's his name? Stuart Lee.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. I mean, he's written How I Escaped My Certain Fate or something like that. It's an amazing book. Oh, you guys should fucking.
It's a script of.
He just writes out his gigs.
Yeah.
And then he has footnotes. It's fucking.
It's brilliant. Yeah.
Brilliant.
So that was.
Surely's great. You go to London a fair bit.
Which?
You go to London a fair bit. Back and forth.
Yeah. Since the COVID, yeah. What was since the COVID? No, I discovered an old street performing buddy of mine owns a comedy club, which is the top secret comedy club in Drury Lane. So he just puts me on all the time.
It's great.
It's great.
But it's if anyone was going to run a club in London, that'd be the one you want to go visit. That's what Top Secret's one of the best ones.
Yeah,
in London,
it's the perfect kind of setup. It's like a black box. There's nothing else in the room. Road seating, small stage, good lighting, good sound. That's what you want.
And then how did you used to? I know your street performers don't really perform together, but like, how did you guys meet?
Well, I think we would have met in Tokyo back in like 91 or 92. You know what I mean? Like I mean that's like he was. That's what I was doing.
Is Mark is he on a unicycle?
Yeah, he was
swords
he was a unicyclist and he juggled chainsaw and a machete.
Bloody hell!
Yeah.
And then you would sing about it. No,
I never did. I never did gigs with him. But his name was Sparky Marky. But he was the hardest working street performer in terms of he just do shows, save up money. He was very frugal, and he was just good at creating wealth, and and now has built the empire that he has now, which is Top Secret Comedy Club. I mean, he's a multimillionaire, the fucker.
Yeah, but what was yours act? Just want to know before we go through. What was your act like in Tokyo? Because you were there for a few years.
Oh well, when I was there for a year and a half. I was just singing songs.
Just regular English.
That's when I started. I was singing, Bob Dylan, Beatles songs and.
Yeah, making
fun. You know what I mean? But no, I wasn't making fun. I wasn't doing anything like that. I was just busking. I'd go down to this. I lived in this suburb of Tokyo called Ikebukuro. And I lived in a thing, they call it a gaijin house, which means a foreigner's house. And there was about 6 or 7 of us, and we'd all had little rooms in this foreign house. And I lived near the station in Ikebukuro, and I'd go down every night from about like 10 to 11:30 at night when all the salary men would be coming home, and they'd had a few drinks, and I'd just be, and I'd make $100, $150 a day doing that.
Nice.
Which was for me, it was like so exciting that I suddenly realised I might not have to work, have an actual job,
and you never did.
Yeah, and I never did. It's terrible. Yeah.
What was the moment when you went from street performing music to street performing comedy? What was the little click?
Well, it was very gradual. It was just, I noticed that when I made people laugh, that I'd get more money in the hat.
When you were doing both, that was a very exciting time.
What was that?
When you're out in the street during the day, and then you'd go.
Oh yeah. With I used to have a drum on my back. Oh no, maybe I dropped the drum at that point. Used to do one man.
Yeah, and you'd get into fights, and sometimes you bring the fights into the club. Sometimes you still do. I remember we were on together it was Goo-Boo. Now it's the Panty Bar, and someone was annoying or whatever. And they went off to the toilet, and then when they came back, they walked in front of the stage, and you booted them in the back, and they fell down on their face.
Oh no.
It's the first time I've ever seen. Like, it was annoying, but it wasn't like an actual heckler, would you say?
God, that's terrible.
But you know you hear like, you know that.
I was probably drunk as well.
Went, I think you might have been, yeah. You just went boom, and it was real quiet after that.
There was one time I played. I think your man who runs the the Laughter Lounge, in another venue. I can't remember, on Abbey Street.
Oh yeah, the Academy, or no, what's it called?
And I think, and then a guy jumped on the stage, and I pushed him off the stage. And then all his mates, threw their beer, like it was just like a sort of a tsunami of beer, and then just surfing off the fucking stage. But yeah, listen, the thing is, I have been quite self-destructive, and but it's easy to piss people off in Ireland. You know what I mean? Like we're good at resentments and not ever. If you do something bad to me. It certainly seems that way in the comedy world. You do something bad to me, that's it. You're dead to me for the rest of your life, kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's a Catholic. I mean, every country's got some sort of religious something. And
you mean it's a callback, or it's
maybe? I mean, apart from the forgive and forget is one thing people just forget about the Bible whatsoever. They don't.
They forget the forgive part.
They forget to the forgive.
Yeah.
So they read it wrong. There's somewhere in there just hang on to that.
I mean, I think
you've got that joke. You've got a joke about that.
What?
That they're like an Irish person will just hate you a tiny bit for 20 years.
Oh yeah.
Where did you read that?
No, like Eddie's got a joke about.
But I'm full of that as well. Like I've got resentments towards people. I'm starting this podcast. I do posts. I've built up an audience now of 70,000 people on the Instagram. And you transpose that popularity into ticket sales. Like, if I didn't have social media, I'd be in big trouble, I would say.
Yeah, so it'll be tricky to piss off.
And it's, you can't, yeah.
70,000 people at once.
Well, no, it's tricky. It's not tricky to, I mean, it is, I'm at the pleasure of Instagram. It is their platform. It's not my stage. So there's certain things that you can't go near. Which is kind of, I kind of almost feel sorry for the general public, that because, like I was saying this on stage, maybe in the Crackdown, I kind of thought early on that as a performer, you're duty bound to sort of share whatever pops into your head with the audience. Now, you're not going to you're not promoting what you're saying, but this is a thought that popped into my head. And I think people who are fairly well adjusted have the wisdom to know if these are actually your views or not. We say crazy shit. I mean, it's a way of processing the absurdity of life.
Yeah.
But there are a few people who, and we've heard this ad nauseum in every fucking podcast, there are always a few people, and there always have been a few people who will take everything you say out of fucking context, just take it literally. Or the classic, I mean, when I say, you can't say that. Well, you see, the thing is, you can. You can't say that. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, you can't. It's almost like getting inside Damien or Eddie's head and saying, well, you can't be thinking that. Well, for fuck's sake. Oh, yeah. Well, anyway, it could have been, I mean, the fact that the person, man or woman, was on their phone is going to draw attention to themselves. And it's also fairly humiliating if you're trying to perform and somebody's literally on the fucking phone.
Scrolling away.
But that's
it's like making love to someone. So like, Eddie, can you imagine being on top of a woman? On top of a woman, Eddie. And then she'd be there like, and you'd be riding away.
I'd be all right with that. I'm a compromiser.
I was with the girl there, and I was shagging her, right? And but she was vaping. While I was shagging her.
That's cool, like a smoked machine while you were going. Boysenberry, like a nice smelling, in the smoke. Gorillas in the mist.
I find it very entertaining watching you on stage, because I know from having seen you and I know you that you when I'm on a stage, I can, if someone has some source that is slightly irritating, I can ignore that source. Like if someone takes their phone out for a minute or whenever, I'll just go ignore that and move on to just keep. But you whatever the stimulus is, which is enjoyable to watch, because you're completely present and you respond immediately to all the stimulus in the room. But I find it very entertaining to watch, because I'm like, oh, what's I
get very easily distracted. But it's funny that people do get offended.
Well, now that you're doing these, this is one thing I wanted to ask you. Now that you're doing these bigger gigs, there's a lot more to be distracted by, or does it all become just one big crowd? Like, there'll always be someone, when there's hundreds and hundreds of people, there'll always be someone going to the toilet, someone getting a drink,
well,
someone
I think there's a happy medium between being present and obviously having prepared material. But people do like to feel that you're definitely in the moment, and it's an event and they're part of this thing. Just in a way to sort of bring the audience together and get them all singing off the same hymn sheet. Because sometimes, it's like warming an audience up. So, and that's why MCs do it all the time. Where are you from? What you do? Blah blah blah. And so it just makes the audience feel like a group, as opposed to just individuals, waiting for a bus.
Yeah.
I tried to do a warm up. I used to do the warm up on the Late Late Show when Pat Kenny was hosting. I did it for about a year.
That's
and
not easy.
I was still drinking back then, so the main motivation was there was a free bar, and God, I'd get drunk, man.
So this was before you were actually invited on to the Late Late Show?
Yeah. I think it was before. Yeah.
And you did
warming an audience up. So if you say something or comment on something and everyone in the audience laughs at the same time at whatever it is, it sort of suddenly, it's like unites the audience.
Everything clicks at one place.
Everything clicks, and it's sort of like they suddenly become this instrument, that you can direct with your words coming out. But the worst ever audience I tried to warm up, it was a tribute. Oh God, these guys are cunts. A tribute to the Abbey Theatre, right? Now, the Abbey Theatre.
Just the building of it?
No, a tribute. No, with the building. It was a tribute to the Ireland's national theatre, and so there was all actors from the past and playwrights and fucking whatever sitting in the audience, right?
And they called you. They called you to come on. And
I was the resident warm up guy
at RTE.
At RTE, right. So, the tribute to the Abbey Theatre.
Was Billy Barry there?
And Billy Barry or Maureen Potter or whatever, and Frank Kelly or something.
Oh yeah, Frank. Drink.
So I went on. I think Mike Murphy was there as well, right? Oh, yeah. So they're all in the audience waiting, and so I went on and I tried to pull them together, but they would not break away from the. There's about 250 people in the audience, but they wouldn't break away from the little individual groups that were talking to each other. Mm-hmm. Look, I'd never experienced anything like that before. So these theatre folk. Now, comedian, you're the lowest rung of the artistic ladder to them. The fucking arrogance of these bastards, especially these actors, who trick people into believing that they're smart and clever. Lines are written for you. What are you on about? And you learn the wordies, and you go up on stage, and then people think, oh, they're not. It's not coming from him. It's not coming from them, right? you know, and if you ever, that's why anytime you listen to an actor being interviewed, you're always really disappointed because they've got, you know, anyway, you wouldn't be looking to actors for fucking guidance, is all I'm trying to say. So you have that, so that level of arrogance, you know, kind of. But I saw a few people, like I'm there, and they kind of looked at me like it was like, and you're going, what the fuck? Now I think I only found out subsequently that it was a tribute to the Abbey, but I'd never experienced anything like that level of pretentiousness, and I'm glad I was. I'm glad I was subjected to it, so I could see the ugly truth. And you know, in the theatre folk in the UK are you know, wankers and assholes and pretentious. But the horrible thing about the Irish theatre community, they're sort of photocopies of that. So they're not even authentically arseholes. They're photocopies of British actory arseholes. Anyway.
You've done some acting yourself.
I have, thank you.
Yeah, okay.
but wait a second. The thing is, and then so I did the thing, and they wouldn't break away, and it was fucking awful, died in me hole, whatever. And you know, I was just swept off in a puddle of my own fucking failure. And then, but you had then all these actors telling their anecdotes, and they were shit.
And what you've acted in a few? You were in The Pillow Man.
I was in The Pillow Man, yeah. That was a bad experience for me, I have to say, and I kind of de-evolved as an actor. I think being in the theatre, I didn't like that style of acting. I did think that being in an ensemble would be good, but there were one or two really cool people, but there were too many wankers. Jarlath Tivnan is great, and he was very helpful to me, and I have to very Jarlath.
Love him,
and also. Gary Lydon was great, but the fucking wankeriness among these kind of princes in exile waiting for their, and we'd all love a big part in a film or whatever, but these guys, man, ugh. And there was one guy I couldn't look at him because he was acting all the time on stage, and I said to Jarlath, I can't fucking do this. He said, David, you're gonna have to find a way to look at him.
That's good acting advice.
But it is good acting. Charles said because a conversation is ping pong. You listen to the person. And you have to look at them. I couldn't. He threw me off. Fucking lunatic. And you know these actors as well. People don't know. I mean, obviously it's fine to warm up your voice, but that, you know, you'd hear them. You'd walk by. And then they'd go on with their warmed up voice. But they're shit. But they go, you know what I mean? And also I didn't know. I think people go to the Abbey, you know, Irish Times readers, you know, retired architects, you know, sheer show for fuck knock, and they'll just sit there with their beards, and you know, it's not enjoying the theatre, it's just enduring. It's just like. It's like going to the 40-foot, jumping into cold waters. It feels great. Sorry, I'm shouting too much, and it's no fun, you know.
Thanks to our sponsor this week, the Abbey Theatre.
But the arrogance of these fuckers who put these things on.
There's also, because a lot of theatre is nearly all of them are.
The writers are
government
arrogant.
Funded.
What?
They're all government funded, and
they're all
comedy. They don't give a penny to comedy.
So we don't need it because we're actually popular. They are government funded. It's like you know, somebody on a life support system, and you know, what I think I had an idea. Life support system. Yeah,
they're civil servants on stage, are they? If the government's paying.
Yeah, it's true. Actually, civil servants on a stage.
Civil service. That's a good civil service. Whatever. Life support system. What did I say about? We were going to no.
Saoirse fuck no.
No, Saoirse. Well, just the idea of you know, like they should be allowed. They should be allowed to die. The theatre has been kept alive artificially.
I see what you mean.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And we should pull the plug.
The Abbey should be allowed to be turned into a nightclub.
The Abbey should be turned into a comedy club.
Comedy club.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
The Abbey's comedy club.
Whatever sells tickets. Because if something is advertised if everything was advertised the same way, so everyone saw it was like 4 billboards in town, and whatever was on this place, and then you'd tell soon enough what was popular or not. If everyone was seeing the same things and going, oh, we want to go to that play, we want to go to this show,
and it's the same thing. Those writers, the Irish writers, the arrogance of people who have been published and all that. Not only that, but even worse, there's a lot of Irish writers. Like, almost an important part of being an Irish writer is not being published and walking around having the belief that you have a great work inside you. I've touched on this in The Savage Eye, and I've seen. There's a guy. Lives on my road. I think he published a book in the 80s. He got a good review in the Irish Times by Firfnock O'Firfala. You know what I mean? In 1982, and that's kept him not committing suicide for the. He's still floating on that shit. And he'll quote a Greek philosophy, and he thinks he's got a through line to fucking Joyce. Absolute dickhead. And a lot of these artists who get funded from the government, their whole MO is knowing how to access that fucking money and knowing the boxes to tick and how to present themselves.
And then the whole art becomes about ticking the box.
Right. So, but the other thing is, right, here's the other thing. They think that because you're popular or you're making, you're just... what I'm doing, what I'm producing, it's kind of, without saying it, implicit, it's ahead of its time. People don't understand really what I'm doing. So, a grateful nation is sort of, no, we do know what you're doing. We don't fucking like it, right? It's shit. You're shit, but you're walking around like you're like you're brilliant, and you're not. Yeah, I started a podcast with my ex-Mrs. Hannah, who is also the mother to my 2 sons, Jack and Daniel. And we have started a podcast. But really the most...
What's it called? Quickly, what's it called?
And that's why we're not together.
Great.
Yeah.
Does Hannah still work in... Sorry to cut you off again. Does Hannah work in RTE as well still?
I was in the middle of a fucking sentence, mate.
Yeah, I'd have thought.
Yeah, she works in... makeup and RTE, yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. But actually, one of the most enjoyable, just from a technical point of view, was getting all the equipment. Like, because it just reminded me of when I was in school. Like, I loved having all the pens, the papers, the study books, the this, the that, But the essential part of actually passing exams and gleaning the information...
No interest.
Yeah, no interest.
Give me pencil sharp.
But from a distance, if you saw me, you would think there's a student. You know what I mean? So at the moment, it looks like I have a little podcast studio in my house. But no, the thing is, we've done 2 episodes of the podcast, but it's really it's a real skill. Being an interviewer or being a storyteller, which is essentially, I think, what a podcast is. Because I think, was it Martin Scorsese said about there are people who, like, they can just make anything interesting by how they tell the story. They can talk about losing their keys and you'll be really engaged in what they're talking about. And then other people, could have had an experience where they crashed in a plane or something and they just bore you. So what I'm trying to say is, with podcasting, like just the ability to articulate a point, you get these ideas in your head. Like, even now as I'm trying to explain it to you, I can feel myself kind of getting all fuzzy and muddy, but just that economy of words, just being able to articulate it perfectly. Because like when Hannah talks, she assumes she's about to tell you something, and it's like a film that she assumes you've seen, and she won't tell you the beginning of the story. She'll start in the middle.
Yeah. And my brother does that. He assumes you know his thoughts.
Yeah, and then she get angry because you're not following her. But so
is she on the podcast?
She's Hannah will be my sidekick.
Okay.
And then my 2 sons are working the video and the audio thing. But I'm just saying the ability to be able to be engaging, interesting, the absence of it being funny, be interesting. Because I'm quite scattered in how I talk. So it's going to take a long time for it to, you know, like as comedians, we're trying out an idea and we'll work it for days, weeks, months. And then, you know, a year from now, I'll see Damien or you, and you'll think, oh, that's really good. But it's taken us a fucking year to come up with a well-honed fucking sentence.
Yeah. And I suppose also with the content, like say the podcast weekly or whenever it is, that's like you do it once and then that's it, it's gone. So you're not working on that, but it's sort of the process of just like...
Well, just the ability to be really good and speak on the fly. I just feel a bit rusty.
But you're always interesting. And what's it like with the old working together as a team with your family? Like,
well, yeah, that's weird. Like for instance, we did episode 2, and Hannah was reminding me about an argument that we had in Christmas, like 10 years ago, so me and Hannah were having an argument, and the boys were very young. And my dad called me, and I didn't want to talk to him. And Hannah just shoved the phone. And I said, I don't want to talk. I threw the phone on the couch. And I said, oh, yeah, come on, throw it in the fire. And I think I threw the phone in the fucking fire. I don't know if I did it on purpose or whatever. Now remember, the 2 boys are there. And he's on speakerphone, my dad. So my dad's his voice is in the fire, melting. Going, David! And the kids, Jack is going, ah! And I'm in the middle. So this 3-generational trauma, father, you know. So, but the thing is, like talking like that, you know, like you're reacting in the way. But I looked over the 2 boys, and they were like
traumatized.
Well, you know, just kind
PTSD.
of, you know, they didn't really laugh.
Yeah.
And then Hannah asked Jack, what did you think of David when he did that? And he said, oh, I thought he was a bit of a twat, you know. So
yeah.
So
this sounds like a public shaming.
Well,
format.
no, that's okay. But the thing is, it's an interesting. I enjoy spending time with the boys and Hannah in this way, like working, you know.
So it's like therapy sessions that are recorded. You know, do you remember the first episode of The Simpsons with Dr. Marvin Monroe? It sounds like that, and we get to listen.
But like,
to it
when
all
have you ever, you know, with your family actually worked on something together? Never.
Yeah,
I've never done something like this.
Yeah.
So it's quite exciting. So, irrespective of whether people listen to it or not, it's nice to meet up and just sit around and talk to each other. But it'll take a long time for it to get on its feet. Like, how many of these fuckers have you done?
This is 31. Episode 31.
Yeah.
So about 31 weeks.
And we're still, like, they're all like our first one, aren't they? Every single one is the first one. We'll always try ideas. We've tried ideas a couple of times. And then people let us know if they're any good or not.
What's going on with your beard, Damien?
I don't know. It's in bits. I need to... Are
you going to get rid of it?
I don't know. It's too much work.
Why do you want a beard?
Well, I hate the hairy neck.
Eddie's got a beard as well, sorry.
I hate the hairy neck.
You often have a beard.
Oh, yeah, I do, yeah.
So then, like, if it's this length, I don't have to do anything. So it's as much as...
it's just a practicality thing where you just don't have
Have you ever seen Damo's chin?
Why?
Just have you ever seen it?
Oh, yeah, you would have done.
I've never seen it.
When I stopped...
Have you ever seen Damo's penis?
He's saying that if you don't...
Yeah. He actually uses his...
a few times,
I shaved down there, you know.
Yeah. Sorry.
But yeah, since like the last job when, you know, I was in retail and just places where they didn't like unshavenness. And so when...
How long ago was this now?
About 15 years. Full-time comedian. But not doing anything else, 15 years. So I've had a beard that long. So when I was just like, I can do what I want. I don't have to... I'm not working for the man.
They've loosened up the rules with beards and all jobs.
Tattoos.
Guards can have beards
now. You can
now.
look like an absolute mental case in a shop.
You have to groom the beards.
Oh yeah, that's right. Guards have got their new sort of. They look like.
Speaking of grooming,
cyclists.
Did you hear about Blackrock College? The school I was in.
Oh fuck!
No, what's this?
Did you not hear?
Oh, hang on. So we've gone from grooming to grooming. Jesus.
I never understand fully what grooming was. So in my school, I don't know how many. There were pedophiles among the priests.
There we go. That's just our quota, by the way. We always get a pedophile mention in.
There were pedophiles in my school among the priests. Now, at that time, they were called Holy Ghost Fathers.
What? They had a name even.
Well, he didn't name the paedophiles Holy Ghost fathers. I'm just saying, amongst the community who were called the Holy Ghost fathers, there were paedophiles.
Right, okay, yeah. I thought,
I thought it was a nickname that everyone had for pedophiles.
I see. Sorry.
within the paedophile community, it's like always a Holy Ghost
You
father.
see, this is
Send
what
them
I'm
my
talking about.
way.
I didn't tell the fucking story properly. But they've rebranded themselves now.
Which is a good name for a pedophile.
Yeah.
The Holy Ghost father.
Yeah, the holy, but they're called the Spiritans now. But there was always a kind of creepy atmosphere, you know, among those priests. There was sort of a, you know, like, because that whole celibacy thing, the inability to express sexual desire and so on, and, you know, boys, being around boys. But that whole idea of grooming, and this guy, I heard this podcast about a guy that was in Blackrock College who was molested, and I don't know to the extent or how long it went on, and it's horrifying. Because, you know, I think that's the worst thing you can do to a human being, is violate them in that way when they're children. It's the worst thing. Just, that's it. Game over. I mean, you know, it's worse than 9/11 as far as... I would say Osama bin Laden, if you told him about that stuff, he'd be disgusted. I mean, no, I mean, so I'm telling you. You know, it's really neurologically sick, unnatural shit.
Yeah.
But what the thing I didn't understand about grooming, but listening to this documentary on RTE, so like how one of these like a paedophile priest, they're predators, and so they've got like all these boys, and then they pick one. They'll just find out who will be compliant, and they'd start by asking the question, "Will you run down to the thing and get me something?" And then, you know, will you do this? Will you do that? And they just slowly bring them into their orbit, and then start doing whatever they, you know. But that's what I mean, grooming. And then when you talk to kids who were in the school at the same time as that was happening, they will talk about the same priest and say, "I never had any problems. He was always okay with me." And people can't get, and thankfully can't get their heads around how horrible and horrifying what happened was, because it didn't, they have no experience of it, didn't affect them. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, it's so creepy just thinking that literally here in this room we can be chatting and talking and having a laugh, and literally a meter away, with the wall dividing us, there can be the most unspeakable, sick, fucking demented shit going on. And then you wouldn't hear about it, because that's what part of grooming is, that whoever the kid was that priest was doing that to wouldn't say a fucking word, wouldn't say anything, because they've been groomed for that reason. It's crazy. And those type of predators, I mean, they have to act in darkness. They keep it all quiet, and then but still Blackrock College. I think there was lots of legal stuff, and they wanted to sort of protect, you know, their reputation, and I think it's completely the wrong way of doing it. You know, it's like, just get rid of everybody involved, everybody who's around, start from the ground up.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And also to show to parents a rigorous, vetting process. But then I was talking to my mother about it, and she said, you know, that's another thing. You know, you can, predators and people like that, they can disguise themselves, you know, so you can
and then they'll get into positions of power to manipulate the system a bit as well. It's crazy
but it made me feel very happy about the fact that I was hated in Blackrock College, and they didn't like me.
As far as like, they're on their compliant list, you'd be the first one out.
They didn't like you for the good reasons.
No, but there was always, like, there was a guy at the time when I was in Blackrock College. I did my leaving cert in 1984. And there was a guy, there was brothers, priests and sisters, and there was a brother in Blackrock College who ran the audiovisual department, and his nickname was Brother Sex. That's what we called him, Brother Sex.
And he's producing this show today.
No, but I'm just trying to say, like, so it was all, like, we were so innocent, we didn't know, you know.
And because it was creepy, or
because there was rumors, you know, that he'd be recording the boys in the, you know, out in the rugby pitch or whatever, and he'd be watching it and, you know, enjoying himself watching all these.
It's crazy that the predators pick, like, because Catholic church schools.
Grooming,
they run schools,
yeah.
and so it's actually a good area if you're a predator to go into.
Yeah.
So obviously a lot of priests. The priests in my school, I don't think they did anything. They were, and I was.
No, you just weren't popular with the priests.
Yeah, I was non-compliant. No, they were. I got on very well with them, and I've met them since, and I'm really fond of one of them. Was a really nice guy.
Yeah, sure.
Great fucking philosophical thinker. You'd have great chats with him. Didn't agree with all his religious thoughts.
With his
but
sexual prowess. But anyway.
Yeah. But fucking then a lot of people, they must have been predators prior to joining the church. You know, the church didn't turn them into predators, or did it? But I think they chose it, and then they use the system of the church, the power that they get in the church, to do what they do.
Well, I also think that back then, maybe still now, if you don't have children, it's hard for you to understand. Maybe they have brothers and sisters themselves, those priests. But what I'm trying to say is, I think maybe those communities, those clerical communities, they all know how difficult celibacy is, and so maybe they've all had these kind of thoughts themselves, maybe, and that's why they try to circle the wagons and protect each other rather than. I don't know, just open up, be transparent, and just change the whole system like they do with the Protestant thing where they can marry.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anywhere in the Bible it says don't get married. Do you know?
It was only 200 years ago that the Catholic Church banned marriage.
Yeah. I think it's for property.
It was a property. It was a power of property. They wanted the money for the church.
And as Irish people, we're all kind of, to a lesser or greater degree, recovering Catholics. You know, Catholics. We this sort of embarrassment, shame, kind of distancing ourselves from what our bodies are designed to do. You know, and as if celibacy somehow is
closer to God. Apparently,
closer to God. It's very much against nature.
The Pope said recently that priests and nuns need to stop watching porn. That they watch porn.
Of course, yeah. Of course they do.
It was just interesting because there's a category.
That was a public thing.
How would he know?
Public
though?
knowledge.
How would he know?
Fucking checking the internet history of people.
The Pope clicked on history, going, "Oh, I'm going to see some of the Bible verses."
What Bible verse is Father Henley reading today?
When I was a young guy, I went to
Nuns on the Run.
I went to Peru, right? When I was 21 or something, 22. And I went to this parish in a place called Cieneguilla outside Lima. And I was living with a priest, a guy called Troy, who was an uncle of a mate of mine called Dylan, right? And so I was staying in his place. And then I'd go to the village and help out, you know, building projects and some. But there was a little... are they called nunneries? No, what where nuns live?
Yeah,
not
nunnery.
called nunneries.
I think they're nunneries.
What's the word?
There's another name for it. Anyway, but because I played the guitar,
monastery. No, that's monks.
The head nun, who was an old English lady, invited me in to teach the nuns, these trainee nuns, or whatever, guitar. And, so I'd be sitting there and we'd be singing. But there was one or two of the nuns who were really fucking hot, right? And there was a Peruvian nun. And, over the weeks, me and this one were getting... And I was like...
So you're grooming a nun instead of the other way around?
Yeah, I was grooming a nun. But 21, and she was... And I was obviously fucking thinking about her, and just because they'd wear those big skirts, and just this Peruvian nun, and just pulling that big skirt up, and you know what I mean, pulling that, just fucking riding the whole over with her permission, obviously, Father, and but obviously the head nun sensed the sexual tension between me and this nun, and so it was a very abrupt. No, it's okay, David. We've learned our songs now. Thank you.
Oh, and that was it.
But I still think about her.
Kicked out of Peru.
I wasn't kicked out of Peru.
Kicked out of the nunnery.
Deported from the mountains. Yeah, that's funny. The grooming thing, that just reminded me of like when I worked in. Well, there was a radio station that was just comedy that was in Melbourne, and it was a community station. And it was
Triple H.
Triple H.
What was it called?
It was just called Laugh Radio.
Laugh Radio.
Laugh Radio. And I was
Welcome
on
to Laugh Radio with Damien Craic. It's bumper to bumper outside. How, Damien? Tell us, what's the joke of the day?
The joke of the day is, what's up, up my ass? Oh, this dude's here. Because the guy who ran it, it was, quite slimy sort of dude anyway.
Yeah.
But then the last over, so there was, I guess, over the months of working there, the hand on the shoulder, the yada yada.
Oh, right,
he'd do it to a few of us. But I was very friendly, and I was about 20, 21. And then it ended up, he goes, come back to my place, and we were going to go through some tapes or whatever, he says. So go to his place. Then he offered me poppers.
Oh, fuck.
And I didn't even know what they were.
Damon, you're 21 by this point. Come on.
No.
I was very innocent. I was very innocent. I didn't know about poppers.
Innocent.
I knew about marijuana, alcohol. That was it. Pretty old fashioned, anyways. So anyway, I didn't know what it was, and then he told me, and I was like, "Oh, I got to get the bus," and then that was it. It just never went back.
Your poppers are rotten. They give you a bad headache.
But they open your bum holes.
They do that. Yeah.
No, like apparently
They also give you a short high, but they also loosen your bum.
What do you mean they loosen your bum?
So people take them before anal sex. You sniff it, and it gives you a kind of high, and then your bum.
How do you know all this, you dirty fucker?
Yeah, exactly.
I have an interesting thing.
So if you're constipated, you can go for prune juice, have a popper.
But surely you'd want a tight bum to there's a tighter.
Depends how.
I suppose you'd have
Depends who you're with.
You have a look and you're
Depends
like,
if you're in Peru or in Nigeria.
Gonna need an extra popper.
The Air Force, Tiger.
Oh, Tiger from the Air Force.
And I asked him after that actually about did he or his colleagues. He was on stage. I was on after you, and I went up and asked Tiger if his colleagues and him were talking about all those UFO sightings that were released by the Pentagon, the videos from the fucking planes. The planes they've got like multiple different cameras that some of them are heat sensors, some of them are just normal videos, and they can track objects. And so there's been tons of sightings of these fucking bizarre. Did you hear about this?
No, go on.
Damo, have you read them? I've been reading a lot about this lately.
Oh, I love
so
UFOs,
what did they see? What did they see? What bullshit?
Well, it looks legit, and
it isn't. Okay, go on. What is it?
Okay, fine.
No, tell me what.
So there's all these fucking sightings of different
sightings.
They look like drones that are flying
because they are drones. Go on.
Faster than the planes. They can fucking do these. They don't have any propellant, so that whatever way they're flying is not human technology right now, or if it is, it's not American. So it's either.
Have you got this on video?
We can get a video up for you if you want to see it.
Yeah, let's have a look at it.
Time for that?
Oh,
it's
let's have a look at this.
Go to YouTube,
because I mean this guy Eddie Malarkey.
Go to YouTube.
He's so do you know the thing is with you, Eddie, you love things that you can't prove, but you take everything for granted that it's actually here. You don't give a shit about me and Damien, but it's like, oh, it might exist. Oh, then it definitely. It's such rubbish. I'm tired of your bullshit.
Go to YouTube and then type in.
Malarkey's a good name for you. I'll tell you that much. It's all malarkey. Malarkey.
And go type in
type in
U.S. Air Force unidentified aerial phenomenon, UAP. Type in UAP.
How many UFO?
They changed the fucking name. This second one there, encounters. Navy pilot describes the encounters with UFO.
Describes the encounter, but you can't see it.
No, there should be the video with it.
Do you want to hear it? Is that?
Yeah.
There's an ad up for. Is that an ad first?
Skip the ad. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We have tackled many strange stories on 60 Minutes, but perhaps none like this. It's the story of the U.S.
None like this. They always talk like that.
Unidentified aerial phenomena.
Skip to a video
UAP,
there.
more commonly known as the U.S. Atlantic coast in 2015. Recently released images may not convince UFO skeptics, but the Pentagon admits it doesn't know what in the world this is. Or this. Or this. So what do you say to the skeptics? It's a good refracted light.
Well,
weather balloon.
Yeah, okay. So I have to worry about my rent. I mean, on if they can, But what do you think of that, Damien?
Yeah, I'm the same. Like, I'm like, wow, I hope it's something from out of this world. But I think logically, why would aliens come all this way just to dick about and then leave without doing anything? And you're right, we don't have to.
But they're probably like robotic aliens at this point, you know.
They're probably
artificial intelligence will outlast humans.
I think they come down every like year or two. They go, how are the humans doing, right? And they see, oh, they're only got iPhone 12 stuff this, and they go back. You know, we haven't come far enough that we're not interested.
To say hello.
They're like, they're still arguing about stupid shit, and then they leave again. Yeah. They come down, they go, Craic or whatever. And they fly off again. I don't know what aliens think.
It's funny. I was a big fan of Star Trek, the latest iteration. Star Trek, and I was kind of into it. And Michael Burnham, I think that was the lead person's name. And then 2 series into it, there was a scene, and this is set a million years in the future. I don't know what the fuck. And then one of the characters said, "Could you refer to me as them, please? Could you refer to me as them?" And obviously, it's modern day progressive stuff. HR have sort of shoehorned this stuff into the screen to show their bona fides that they're absolutely where we should be. And it just killed it for me. I'm like, oh no, don't be doing that.
Yeah, they could have just avoided it by not using.
We'd be so well beyond whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
And there's aliens, man. We're not thinking about genders. We're thinking about what species are you?
There'd be no gender left by then.
Yeah.
We'd all be...
What are you, a Klingon or you bloody... What are you?
But that's the thing that blows me away. The history of the universe, how long it's been in existence for, like 14.5 billion years. Like how the Earth actually happened. I don't know if you've actually listened to how the Earth got created and how gravity sort of pushes things together and just over eons. I don't know what eons mean. Just time, and things crash into the Earth and bring with it good nutrients and things and chemicals and things start to happen. And then the fact that life happened. What is it? 4.5 billion years ago. It's almost like the Earth was, because of the position it was within the solar system and the way it revolved around the sun, and little rock pools, and and then I think the moon was formed because of a collision with Earth Mark 1. Mm-hmm. And then it formed, and then little rock pools like petri dishes, and life begins, and and here we are. I mean, the history of humanity within that is just so infinitesimally small.
It was bacteria for 2 billion years.
It's incredible. And then we're getting into all this stuff.
And now we're like, beep, beep, the lights green. And you're like, fucking chill out, mate.
Yeah. We were bacteria for 2
billion years. There was only bacteria on the planet.
Yeah, wait another 2 seconds,
can you
mate.
imagine, the way, like, it's Monday, and you're waiting till, I can't wait till Friday. Like, you'd be sitting, like you'd be there, like, at 1 billion years, you'd be just there, like, and you'd have to wait another billion years for it to be, Can you imagine that? Like, imagine just the like, nothing would have happened most of it. Nothing happens most of the, I mean, not nothing, but just, it's so quiet and calm.
Yeah. Just the slow, and
then we're worried, and we're all worried about getting cancelled and saying the wrong thing, and we're all, actually, me and Des Bishop did start a podcast, but we didn't do it because I don't think we had good chemistry, but also I was just very fearful, like, about saying the wrong thing.
But well done, because you, like, he was your enemy or whatever for years. Not enemy, you just slang him off all the time on stage. Yeah. And probably you still do. You still do.
Well, no, look.
But you dressed up as him, you taped your nose up to your forehead, you jumped on to Tasha K.
Oh, that's right. I wonder
where
Tasha K is now. Do you know Tasha K?
I haven't seen her in ages.
Would you know who she is?
No.
How do you know her?
Comedian, because she was on the scene where we were digging behind.
I wonder what she's up to. But
anyway, so who reached out to who after?
Well, Des. I was just very jealous. I guess jealous. Of his big success when he started off, and so I would just make fun of him to make myself feel better or something like that.
Yeah, And then one day you were like, I don't care anymore.
I didn't. Well, no, because then I think jealousy is just really a barometer. It's like telling you, okay, that person is doing something that you want to do now. But then you have to ask yourself the questions: what steps are you taking to achieve that? And if you're not taking those steps, you just kind of become bitter. But I'm sure I'm very defective. I've got everything. I've got bitterness. I've got jealousy, envy, whatever you have. But no, I was jealous of Dez's success, and so.
Well, we're jealous of your success.
Oh,
so
good.
That makes you.
I'm jealous of your wife.
I was thinking that because you would, if people got like, I don't know, more followers, more much more money, more bigger venues than you. So you'd be like, oh, we want that. And that's human nature, isn't it? It's like, oh, I want that, But then as you're getting bigger venues, no. Then it's like, it's okay is it anyone under you? So the barometer is, if you get more and more famous, you will like more people? Because then they'll...
Well, no. Do you mean I will like more people?
Yeah,
because no. I think the thing with when you do start working towards a goal and you're so focused on it that you don't really you actually the jealousy just it falls away because you don't have enough time to focus on other people's success. So
that just really summed up because when you think of like begrudging bitterness, you were sort of the poster boy of that for a long time and still are a little bit. But then like America is the opposite.
Wait. What? The poster. Well, you see, you don't. Well, hang on a second. You don't understand. Like those resentments, like to other people, to you culturally, that's how they might be perceived. But to me, they're also like little jewels and diamonds. Because I think if you're obsessed about something, you can turn them into something. So that thing with Des and my jealousy or whatever turned into me creating that character on the Savage Eye, which kind of was a bit mean-spirited, looking back. And Des is actually a good bloke, and I do feel bad
about as well, though, you have to be able to take the piss. Like you did a lot of taking the piss in Savage Eye. You did Hector, you did Pat Kenny, you did a few, and they're jewels. So,
and that's the good thing about being on the outside, that you're not too friendly with these fuckers. Yeah. So you're like
Thanos from like the Avengers. You've got all these like the Des. Sorry. Every knuckle has a different
the poster boy for bitterness, bitterness, like which you said in a really kind of smiling kind of but that was you really having a go at me there. And fair enough. But like I'm saying, for instance, I did an interview with Joe Duffy. What was it? Would have been 96 or 97 or something. When I was in Edinburgh and I got arrested for saying penis. Right, a cop arrested me. Well, you can't say that word. Held overnight in a cell or whatever. But Joe, and because my dad at the time was Minister for Foreign Affairs, so it made a little splash in the fucking local media. And so, Joe Duffy, so I was on the Joe Duffy show, and I think it's a disgrace. I think, and Joe Duffy was quite critical of me or whatever, and that formed a resentment in me towards Joe Duffy. Now, because I am an alcoholic, I've been to Alcoholics Anonymous. I went every day for a year, and the resentments are terrible things. But to me, my resentments are little fucking little things that I just keep there, like in the back. They're just little spinning plates, and I think I'm the poster boy for revenge comedy. If you want to get real, because like I held that resentment towards and that thing for Joe Duffy for that, and then it came out as this guy who gets turned on by other people's misery. So I got back at him. So
you're one of the few people who have been able to turn a resentment into something healthy, or use your resentments in a somewhat healthy way for creation.
Maybe they're not resentments then. I mean, surely, Eddie, there's certain people that freak the fuck out of you, but you're kind of almost embarrassed or slightly ashamed about what a visceral reaction you have to certain people, and so you kind of keep it to yourself. Yeah. Maybe a lot of people are like that, or maybe there's I don't know who you. It's an ugly thing to admit jealousy anyway.
Yeah,
people don't say it, and that's so. When I do say it, if I am on stage and I say I'm jealous, it does make people. They might not agree with it, but they certainly appreciate the honesty of it.
Oh, I just figured out. who
you jealous
You don't have to tell me.
No. Just for me, I'm like, it's not normal to not be jealous. I'm like, I must be jealous of someone because we all have comedian friends who are bloody rich and everyone loves them. Blah, blah, blah. But I mean, I'm happy for them because if they were our mates, they're good. Well, you see,
you're cut from a different cloth, Damo. Like I would kind of believe you. No, I don't think. I think you are a bit jealous, Damien. And you might be in denial about it, and you're not. You know.
No, but I know who I am jealous of. It's people with time, like lots of time. What it gets me is when someone says, "Oh, I'm bored." That I just want to punch them right in the face. I'll give you something to do. I will give you 30 things to do right now, and you won't be bored anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, like just people wasting. I used to waste time, of course I did. But I mean. Now so you're very active all the time. You've always got. There's just too much to do. Like I just don't have enough time to do all the things I want to do before I die in 10 years.
You've got a 6-year-old kid. That's the.
Yeah, there's
but
that.
That's a good place to be, don't you think?
Yeah, it is. But
sometimes, or do you think sometimes that you can't actually be? You can't let yourself just chill out.
Yeah, it's the battle because I know you can't relax. You know what it's like as a parent. You can't relax. It's just too much on.
Yeah, that's the thing. I got into comedy because I didn't want to work too hard. If I'm honest, right? But the thing is, to achieve anything, you do have to work very hard. But my default position is not working that hard, and you know what I mean. And that's why. So when I see comedians go on stage and really, with well constructed, well crafted bits. I'm so sick in my fucking head. I'm thinking, look at you fucker.
Yeah.
Working you know what I mean.
Yeah. You had a lot of time, didn't you, to write that? You had a lot of time yourself.
There is an illusion that is strived for of a comedian looking to appear laissez-faire and not give a fuck.
Yeah, that's what I think.
They actually have worked incredibly hard to create this appearance.
Very good, yeah. That's what I was trying to say. So I do try to. I mean, in my confusion or what's the fucking word? Like I have said that on stage where. A lot of people, you look up to these comedians who are on the panel shows, who are selling out big arenas, and they come off as if it is laissez-faire and it's all very just off the top of their head. But everything they're doing, everything they're said, it's really well scripted, really well thought out. They're very hardworking, they're very determined, but they appropriate my type of personality because when I go on stage, I'm not that prepared. And if those comedians that you think that aren't prepared actually came on stage as unprepared as me, they wouldn't be doing as well. So I'm fucking better than those fuckers. But that's ridiculous. It's the same kind of thing, Eddie. When I was in school and you sit next to a guy and you're doing your exam and he's going, I didn't really try that. And he gets A's.
Yes.
I mean, secretly been studying his fucking arse off. So it's ridiculous for me to expect that everyone should approach, stand up the way I do, where it's just, you just write down a few notes.
American comedians don't have that thing where they try and appear as if they're not working hard. They're like, remember we had that guy on Eric Newman? And he did great. Yeah. And all his mates came with him all the way from New York. And they were on. And they all went on stage. And they were all like, you got Eric Newman up next. And wow, that guy, is the hardest working comedian I've ever met. He just never stops working. And give it up for Eric Newman. And they all said that about Eric. Even backstage, they're like, geez, he's the hardest working guy ever.
Yeah.
And like who wants to be the hardest working comedian? Like he's great. And his success is from hard work. But we don't, in Ireland, you wouldn't.
Well, but the only thing is, though, Eddie, if you do want to achieve something great, you do have to work your arse off.
Yeah, but
at some point in your life, you're going to have to do it.
Americans publicly applaud it and own it. They own it. Yeah, I'm a hard-working comedian. I'm fucking... Whereas we don't...
But you guys are working very hard to get this club up and running, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, but we would prefer to do it if it was, like, easy.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel like hard work because it's all fun. But everyone wants a bit more sleep.
Well, we got one more.
Everyone, me.
So, Damo, you just got a message on their phone from 3 about Des Bishop. Did
Yeah,
you say?
sorry about that. My attention span's nuts. But
That's
yeah,
weird.
we were just talking about Des Bishop, and I never get texts saying Des Bishop, and I just got a message from 3, the network, the phone network, saying
Is that Vodafone?
Des Bishop.
No.
This is 3, the company 3.
Oh, 3. Are you with 3?
Yeah.
Aye.
And they saw a promo text saying they
Yeah,
got
yeah,
tickets
just
and-
going, there's Des Bishop is on tour.
He's playing in the Olympia. It's great. Olympia is a fantastic venue. I love it.
Yeah, he is. That's
You got a show in the Olympia coming up?
I have to ring you, man. I have to book one in.
You got any show you want to plug coming up?
No.
And the podcast.
The podcast, and that's why we're not together.
And that's why we're not together.
When are you gonna release?
I don't know, Eddie.
Okay.
Are you on Spotify?
Yeah.
How can you get on Spotify? Is it easy?
Oh, yeah, I can show you.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, here we go.
Okay.
First episode will be out as soon as this one's finished.
So go check out David McSavage's upcoming live.
Oh no, you
show.
can join my Instagram page, The Real David McSavage, posts and videos and follow me. And then when I'm doing a gig, like buy a ticket to come and see me, or don't.
Yeah, and not saying this because you're sitting there, but I've said many of the people, one of the funniest Instagram accounts I've ever seen.
Thanks.
Again and again.
Yeah.
Again.
And you're on at the Crackdown on the 30th of December as well.
Oh Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
If you have legs spread, come on down.
Yeah.
If you've enjoyed this podcast, you can promote it by telling your friends and your family and give it a 5-star review on whatever platform you're on.
Yeah, and if you've got a WhatsApp group, but people love a WhatsApp recommendation. Check the link into your WhatsApp with all your mates.
Yeah, WhatsApps and a Patreon. Check out the Patreon if you want to support this podcast. If you want to buy me a coffee or Damo coffee or perhaps David McSavage a coffee.
Oh God, yeah.
Or a kombucha. Or a kombucha. So that'd be great. Yeah, Patreon. It's just patreon.com. Cracked in.
And,
And if there are any young girls listening to this who have daddy issues, get in touch with me. It's funny, they talk about young women, like I'm talking women in their 30s, daddy issues, because I'm 56. But can a 56-year-old guy have daughter issues then if a girl has daddy issues?
Because you don't have a daughter.
Oh, jeez, I've never heard of that.
Well, so she wants a daddy figure, in her life, but obviously it's not her daddy because there's a sexual component to it. But, Good night.
Good night, everybody.
McSavage, everybody.
David McSavage, thank you for tuning in.
He's actually standing up and walking out.